What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the US, let me know what country you're representing. I need to know these things. Family, make sure you smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. We gotta put it in their face. When you smash those likes up, it helps with YouTube's algorithm, my positioning, my video positioning on YouTube. When you see those suggested videos, that's YouTube's algorithm at work. Also, when you subscribe, if you have not done so already, make sure you select, after you subscribe, you hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you can get your notifications. Be sure to select all notifications. Otherwise, you may not get any notifications. That's just the way that YouTube operates. So I see I'm gonna let a few more people jump in before I go in. Let's see, family, help me welcome to WillieDLive, the newest members, Venom T and Chef Doran C. Chef Doran C. Welcome to WillieDLive. So let me get in here. Let's see what y'all talking about. See what you're talking about. Okay, so will you ever get into politics? I mean, again, I'm kind of into politics right now. I am looking at some options for a position, but I haven't made my mind up yet. But I'll be involved in politics no matter what, because, you know, politicians run it. So I'm going to be involved whether I become a politician or whether I use my influence from the outside. But I'll forever be involved in politics. A lot of us are involved in politics every day and we don't even know it. But, you know, if you're living in this country, you're involved in politics to some extent. Now, how much extent will determine, you know, how much you're involved in it, you know, how much action you put in will determine, you know, how deeply you're involved in it. But you are involved in it, because you can sit back and not participate all you want to, and then just let them tell you what it's going to be. Or you can jump in the mix and have some say so. Jeanette wants to know, am I a native Texan? That's right. Born and raised in Houston, Texas. North Side, H-Town. Who is this? Shani Pooh wants to know, will I marry her? Okay, Shani Pooh. Okay, what we gonna get married at? You know, what we gonna do? You know, first of all, Shani Pooh, what is your real name? All right, we gotta talk about that, Shani Pooh. Let's talk. We gotta get to know. I gotta know you first before I can marry. So let's get to know each other. Angela Ware, what made you start your YouTube channel? Good question, good question. You know how they say on Family Feud, good answer, good question. So I initially started on, you know, on Facebook, and the reason why I started on Facebook was that I saw that there was a lack of information out there. A lot of the youngsters was going wild and tripping and doing all kind of crazy things, and that I had sometimes did in the past. And a lot of people my age were just complaining, but they wasn't doing anything. You know, nobody was stepping out, doing anything about it. Even when youngsters when you're going into the store, or you just in your neighborhood and standing out in your yard or whatever, kids just walk by cussing and just saying whatever. And I would see older people not injecting themselves, into the conversation, and at least trying to, bring them down and see what's going on with the youngsters, and like demanding that respect that adults demanded when I was growing up. So I was like, you can either be part of the problem or part of the solution. If you're not helping, you're hurting. It means that if there's a problem and you're not doing anything to solve the problem, then you're hurting, So my thing was that I don't like being a hypocrite. So I was like, well, let me go out here and put some information out here. And, I know I ain't gonna help everybody. I know some people ain't gonna get it, but for the ones that do get it, that's cool. The trip part about it is that a lot of times the people who are older refuse to accept the information a lot faster than the youngsters would. And a lot of that is jealousy, them thinking, first thing come to their mind, well, who is he to tell me what to do? Or who is he? And it's not, and I've never tried to tell people what to do. Well, occasionally, when I know, hey man, you better do this. This is what if you don't want this to happen, you need to do this. But my thing has always been like, it's information, and you can take this information or leave it. It's up to you. Just like when you go to church, how sometimes when you're sitting in church and the pastor says something and it hits you, you be like, man, he's talking to me. And then other times he's talking and it don't really apply to you. So you're listening, it sound good or whatever, but it don't hit you. But then when he says something that you can really relate to, it seems like he's talking to you. So that's what I did. I started the Facebook account first to start putting the information out. I weaned off the Facebook because Facebook was being way too strict and they kept banning my videos and stuff. So then I moved over to YouTube because YouTube seemed to be a little bit more tolerant, although they eventually started tripping. But that's why I started the YouTube page. I started it to put the information out there. Melvin wants to know, do I do speaking engagements? Yeah, I do speaking engagements. I speak at universities, I speak at prisons, youth facilities. I speak at nonprofit events. I do speaking engagements. Mail at, hit me up, mail, mail@WillieD.com. All right. So whatever information you have, you got to give me your whole pitch. I'm not going to just be communicating, going back and forth, not knowing what's going on. Like, let me know what it is you want to do. What's the plan? Shoot me a proposal, and we'll take a look at it and go from there. Miss OMG says, I've seen a lot of your videos and you are very protective of Black women. Why do you think some Black men refuse to protect and most would rather argue with women versus their male counterparts? Well, for various reasons. Some guys, let's go to the protection part first. Some dudes refuse to protect because they've been emotionally injured. And because they've been emotionally injured, they're taking it personal against all women. They've been emotionally injured by one woman or two women or three or four or five. Even if it was 20, it's not all women. So they've categorized all women as being unworthy of protection. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of men don't protect women. The other reason is that some dudes are just cowards. Quite plain, they don't want to inject themselves in anything because they are afraid. Straight up, they are afraid. And I'll tell you something too. I'm afraid myself to just inject myself into people's situations because you don't know what's what, you know? But I'm more afraid of what would happen if we had a society where our women were not being protected, whereas you could just be walking down the street and see a man going upside a woman's head and you say, well, not my business. You see a boy going upside a little girl's head. Not my business, not my problem. And we just keep on walking because it is your problem because that little girl or that woman is at some point going to be your sister, or it might be a sister or a niece, mother, grandmother, aunt, cousin, friend, daughter, you name it. So it's kind of like domestic abuse. I think we have a very skewed mentality when it comes to domestic abuse. There are some dudes who will not hesitate to go upside a woman's head. But if you put your hands on the women in their lives, they pulling out shotguns, they ready to down you. I mean, think about how stupid this sounds, right? Think about how hypocritical that is. I won't even say stupid, I'll just say hypocritical, because you say call somebody stupid, they get turned off immediately. So think about how hypocritical it is to go upside a woman's head and feel like you feel justified because she did this or she said that. But you can find no justification for a man to go upside a woman's head in your family. It don't make sense. To me, it makes it hard when men put hands on the women in their life, the woman in their life, their significant other, and are ready to go to war if somebody put hands on the women in their lives, their mother, their sister, their aunt or whatever, their daughter. To me, it makes it harder to put the message out there that this is not tolerated. It's not going to be tolerated. You gotta be consistent. If you don't want nobody putting hands on your women, the people in your family, don't put hands on other people's women and the women and the girls in their family. You see what I'm saying? It makes a lot more sense. If you are against a woman being raped, if you are against the rape of the sexual assault of women, you don't just teach your girls how to protect themselves and what to watch out for. You tell your boys, you start with your boys since the boys are committing the majority of these rapes. Women are catching up, but you start with your boys and you teach your boys that that's something that's going to be frowned upon. But you mess around and get disowned around here, you do something like that, you're going to bring shame on the family. You are the lowest of the low. You pull a stunt like that, we not having it around here. You get no protection at all if you carry yourself in that manner. You tell your boys early on, you don't wait till they're 15, 16, 17. You start on them early. When I say early, you start putting it in their head, planting it in their head at 4 or 5 years old, how to be a gentleman. 4 or 5 years old, 6, 7, you just working on them all the way up and you letting them know. Yeah, no means no, bro. So you let them know, and then you let them know the consequences. You let them know that you don't want something like that on your record. You let them know how something like that will follow them for the rest of their days and how that's frowned upon. So you start with your boys, and then you let your boys, you make sure that your boys spread the word to their boys. You see? The easiest way to stop a lot of this madness is for friends to encourage their friends to do the right thing. And when they see their friends doing something wrong, speak on it. Don't be afraid to lose a friend for telling the truth to a friend. Don't be afraid to tell the truth to a friend because you think that you might lose that friend. If you're going to lose a friend for telling the truth, you really have to think to yourself, was that really a friend at all in the first place? So that's number one on the protection side. The second part of that question, what was the second part of? Okay, so the second part would have been the arguing. Why men are quick to argue with women and not men. I don't know. I just think that dudes is just like to argue and stuff like that. First of all, I don't think it's wise to argue with women because you're not going to win. You dig? And if it's a woman that you're interested in, if you're sitting up there arguing with her, it's a turnoff. It's a major turnoff. A woman is not going to get moist for a moist dude. I just personally think it's unmanly for dudes to go back and forth arguing with women. I think it's unmanly. My take on that. Have you seen, Moses wants to know, have I seen Malcolm X doc on Netflix? I did start to watch it and I realized it had like 6 or 7 parts and I just haven't had time to get to it, but I am gonna watch it. I've been hearing good things about it. My collar looks a little jacked up. Let me take a look at my collar. Looks a little jacked up. All right, that looks a little more decent. Let's see. Dram LP family, welcome Dram LP to the WillieDLive family. The newest member to the WillieDLive channel. Dram P, appreciate you, homie. Oh, this is a good question. Marvman says, in the baby situation, I just wanted to know if the girl was Beyonce and a broke dude tapped her face with his phone, what do you think would happen? Will he get knocked out? Oh yeah. Yeah, he would have got knocked out. He would have got knocked out, more than likely. And nobody would have said anything. Think about that. What's up, Miss Libra? What is an intelligent way to handle a situation when a person takes your kindness for weakness, especially when you are not a weak person? This is a superior at work that does this. So, the intelligent way to handle someone who takes your kindness for weakness when you're not a weak person, and this is a superior at work. Oh, wow. So just off rip, I think the easiest thing to do is to have a conversation, like have a respectful conversation with a person. That's why I always start, like, to me, everything in life involves effective communication. If you think about life, any relationship that you have in life, whether it be a platonic relationship, whether it be a relationship with a family member, whether it be a friendship, a romantic relationship, your relationship on your job, all of these relationships revolve around effective communication. So what I would do is I would have a conversation with that person, and I would start off that conversation very calm. Anytime you have a personal grievance with somebody, a lot of times, especially like on a job or whatever, it's important to start that conversation off with something positive first. Maybe the positive thing is, hey, I really like working here. I think that, I think that you're, a good boss or whatever. I like this about the job or whatever. But then going to look, I think that I think that sometimes that my kindness is being taken for weakness. Some superiors know that, for instance, sometimes you can work at a job and they know that they can always count on you to do overtime. They can always count on you to do the extra work when they're behind. They can count on you to come in on the weekends. And some superiors will take that for granted and they'll pile it on you. So in this type of situation, you have to stand up for yourself because you treat people how to teach. You teach people how to treat you. So if you're always accepting of the duties, the extra duties, and you're not getting paid extra on top of that, then they're going to continue to treat you that way. But if you start saying no, then they'll back off. I had a situation where a friend of mine's boss was getting all in her personal business. And she just straight out told him, that's my personal business and we need to leave the personal business and the professional business and to separate. We need to make sure that they are separate. And once she did that, he backed off. But he thought because he was her boss that he was the boss of her life, and he could just, tell her what to do with her life and, tell her how she should be handling things. And she straight up checked him. So, but she did it in a respectful manner. So long story short, you should have that conversation. Make sure you say it in the most respectful manner and be prepared to move on. That's the sad thing about people having to work for bullies. Sometimes you get in these job positions and people got to pay their bills. People got plans, for that money that they make. And a lot of times, you got people that are in careers and they work hard to get to where they are. And you got this bully that you're working for and you're trying to figure out, damn, man, this bully is making your life a living hell. So you have to start plotting an exit strategy. But the first thing to do is to try to effectively communicate with the person. Let the person know what your grievances are. But like I say, start off with something positive and then work your way into what your grievance is. And then give them an opportunity to make it right. If they don't, then you should be prepared to move on, because if you bring it to their attention, sometimes these bullies will turn it up because they'll feel like they're getting under your skin and what they're doing is working. So, they'll keep on smashing the gas on you. So that would be my, that's my advice on that. Start off with some effective communication, but at the same time, start plotting an exit strategy. And that exit strategy may just mean if the company is a large company, maybe they have different offices or different departments. Maybe you request a transfer into a different department. If there's a different office, in the same city or a different city, maybe you request, put your paperwork in for a transfer. It was that C note. How do you resolve situations when every time your wife overtalks me or cuts me off, nothing gets fixed? Okay, we're going back to effective communication. You teach See, the reason why your wife continues to cut you off, I'm assuming your wife, the reason why she cuts you off is that she continues to cut you off is that you probably let her cut you off when y'all were dating, and she was able to get away with that. And then it only got worse as time went by. So if you're fed up with it, you have to have that conversation with her and say, look, baby, I love you. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. I hope we can grow old together. And we see each other we go through this all the way until one of us transition. But, I can't deal with this anymore. I cannot deal with you cutting me off when we're having conversations, because when you do that, you're being dismissive of me and you're not considering my feelings. I don't feel that my feelings are validated in this relationship. And so, you give her a chance to correct it. And if she don't, you have to decide, is it worth staying in the relationship? I personally don't advocate people breaking up in relationship unless there's some type of abuse, unless there's some type of physical, emotional abuse. And, it seems to me that, this is teetering on some type of emotional abuse, but you have to decide, can you live with that emotional abuse? Can you live with it? Not can your brother, your mother, your sister, your friend live with it. Can you live with it if she don't change? And, you just have to decide what you're gonna do after you bring it to her, when you present your issue to her. If she don't change, you have to decide what your next step is going to be before you bring that to her attention. Rotterdam Holland is in the building. What's up, Joffrey Landberg. "40 years old ghetto boy fan. Willie D first song heard was like 91, 92. F. Rodney King, right on." Trucker Lawyer says, "What's up, Will? I am a rapper songwriter who is trying to find a way to display my talents to the world and to make some money. I have a gifted, wicked pen. Can you help?" I'm gonna need some specifics, bro. Help in what way? You're gonna have to tell me exactly what it is that you are looking to do. Marquita says, "Hello, Willie D. Can you explain from your point of view, why is it so hard for some Black fathers to show their Black sons love? It's bad enough that our world is so messed up toward Black men. Are they showing the Black daughters love and not the Black sons?" I would think that if a man is going to show his child love, regardless of what the gender is. So if a man is not showing his child love, then it's probably something in him that's left over from his childhood. You probably have to look at, what type of household he came up in, who was his daddy? What kind of parents did he have? I personally can't imagine not showing my children love. These you got to keep in mind, these are the kids that I raised. Now, it's really weird because for me, I've always wanted to be the dude that had a very close relationship with my children. Some of these dudes who have babies that were unwanted, then I think it's hard to love, for these guys to love something that they never wanted in the first place. I've always wanted my children. I loved my children before they were born. I'm serious. Before they were born. I'm talking about when I was like 10 years old. I used to be in my room and just lying on the bed, just thinking about not raising my children in the manner in which I was raised. I would be thinking about the type of woman I wanted to marry, the type of children I wanted and what kind of life I wanted to give them. If you're not thinking along those lines, you're probably not going to be the best father that you can be. So that's how I was thinking. I was like constantly, I was like, I just want to be able to give my kids the best opportunity that they can get. I don't want to bring children into the world at a social disadvantage. So that's why I waited until I got real money, not just had a good job, but I waited till I got real money, long money, before I started the process of procreating, because I knew one of the reasons why I got in so much trouble early on, taking stuff that didn't belong to me. One of the reasons why my mama was so abusive and many of the people in my neighborhood were so aggressive toward each other, their family members and neighbors, is because of insufficient living. Insufficient living is responsible for a lot of insufficient things, insufficient, education, insufficient shelter, insufficient clothing, insufficient food, insufficient love. When you're like involved in insufficient living, when you live in that type of life, it's hard to think about your morals and values when you're trying to survive, you see? And when you're getting hit from every angle, it's hard for you to have empathy for other people. So you have a lot of violence. I personally was raised to settle conflict with fists, guns, and insults. So I attributed a lot of this stuff to insufficient living. I just looked at a lot of like, man, this is insufficient living. And so if I can at least get that, it ain't gonna be perfect, but if I can start right there, making sure that my kids not only have the things that they need, but many of the things that they want, then they'll be okay. So I just believe that a lot of these dudes never wanted the kids in the first place. And it's hard to love something that you never wanted. It's just like they probably never wanted the mother that they had sex with, she was just a knockoff, a side thing. And then bam, I'm pregnant, like, wow. And then he'd never even show up at the hospital. Like when I went to the hospital and saw my daughter come out of her mother's womb, I was there. I'm watching. I'm the second person to hold her besides the nurse. So I'm in the delivery room to see that life come. Man, that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen and the proudest moment of my life. That felt way better than going gold and and playing Madison Square Garden sold out, and being rushed by a mob of fans just loving, man, that feeling right there, that felt way better than being able to go into the mall and shop till I drop, or going to the lot and buying that car. I've never felt that type of feeling before. That was a beautiful feeling. This is why I cannot understand why dudes can't be that, or that are not there for the birth of their children. I can't see it. I need that experience. I needed that. So that was the best experience I ever had in my life. And then when my son came, that was the second best experience I've ever had in my life. Nothing comes close. I just don't understand how some of these dudes are the way they are. I don't even understand how they can go to sleep how they can sleep. Bringing children into the world is the most important thing. Well, that responsibility of bringing children into the world, the responsibility that comes with that, is the most important thing that a person can do. So all of this other stuff, looking good and wearing nice clothes and talking about you through the party of the year, man, that shit don't mean nothing to me. That don't mean nothing to me. All this being praised by people and people saying how good you are and this, man, that don't mean nothing to me if my kids don't think that way of me. Mike Jr. wants to know, can I spit my verse for Mind playing tricks on me? No, I'm not going to do that, man. I get paid to do that, bro. I really do get paid a lot of money to do that. I'll break the bank over here on YouTube to rap that verse. But you can hear me rap the verse this summer. Ghetto Boys going on tour. I'll be announcing the dates real soon. Me and Scarface, we finna go out here and get it. Trey Williams says, Wuhan 400. Let's talk about that. And why they are preparing it from the 70s until now is they fighting over oil, and China released this bioweapon to keep people away. Man, your guess is good as mine, Trey. I don't know. There's so many wicked people in the world. They're up to so much evil, man. You never know what's going on with these people, man. So I have no idea, but I tell you what, I would not put it past them. Daniel Connor wants to know, whatever happened to your Wise Up Artist show? Been a fan since the Rick Rubin remastered Ghetto Boys self-titled album back in 1990. I appreciate that, Daniel. Show is a businessman. Show owns a lot of property. He owns a trucking company, and he's married to Cheryl Swoops. You know, the Houston Comets, the former Houston Comets star. So the first player to be drafted into the WNBA. So we're talking about my artist family, and this is what I'm proud of that. Show was the only artist that I signed and released on my Wise Up Records imprint, and he's doing well. He took his money that he made, doing business with me. He took his money and he invested. He invested, and he's doing real well. He's a boss. So I'm proud of that. Show's doing well. He's living in Galveston, Texas right now. I think he said something about moving back to Houston. Did he say Houston? I think he said he was going to move to Houston or some little country town near Houston. What's up, Michelle McDonough? New Jersey checking in. I see you, Robert Boston. Rashida Nams. What's up, Rashida? Y'all say what's up to Rashida. Rashida on the moderator duties. This is very important, family. It is very important. This moderating is very important, especially on YouTube where it's wide open and you got trolls who can just come in here at any moment and try to disrupt the conversation. You know, the trolls have no life. They are low lives. Their mama don't like them. Their daddy don't like them. They can't keep a girlfriend. And so they just come over to and visit folks' channels and try to disrupt. That's what they do. So Rashida Nams is on moderator duties to try to keep the trolls at bay. Family, say what's up to Aaron Smith. I see you, Aaron. Yeah. Aaron, I got to see you a few more times on the channel before I make you a moderator. I got to make sure you're not infiltrating over here. Got to do a little investigating. Fat Stuff wants to know, do you have a favorite gathering of the Juggalos experience? Okay, so for those of you who don't know what the gathering of the Juggalos is, that is the annual festival that the Insane Clown Posse does. And they do it last year they did it in Indiana. So let's see, a favorite, favorite. I would say the first time I played the Gathering. If you're not familiar with ICP, these are the guys that paint their faces, Joe and Joe. Both of them named are Joes, and they real cool dudes. So the fans throw stuff on stage if they like you. So the whole time that I'm on stage, you know, we're trying to do the show, and people are throwing soda bottles, the plastic soda bottles up on stage, and water bottles up on stage, and some of them are not a half full, you know? So if you don't watch out and one of them things clock you, you know, in the right place, it can knock you out. So the whole time we're moving, you know, trying to rap the songs, and we're moving, you know, and trying to dodge the soda bottles and stuff. And you cannot turn your back for 1 second. I think they got some pro bottle throwers out there or something, because one time I turned my back just for a split second and I got hit on the shoulder. Like, I was like, man, somebody probably was just waiting on me to turn my back, and bam, you know. So yeah, my favorite experience for the performing at the Gathering was performing on stage at the Gathering of the Juggalos the first year that I did it. I think that was, maybe 6 years ago or something. yeah, but yeah, that's my favorite experience. Dark Kent say Milwaukee in this piece. What's up, Dark Kent? Markeith, do you still box? Nah, Markeith, I don't box anymore, but I still fight. Only if I have to. You don't want to fight. You don't want to. I like to fight though. That's the crazy thing, is that I actually like to fight. But, you know, fighting is costly, right? Conflict is costly. So you try to avoid conflict. So that's what I try to do. I tried my best to avoid conflict. My hands are registered. And so I can't just be going around swinging on people anyway, because they're going to hold me to a different standard than the average person that get into a fight. But I do enjoy fighting. You know, I actually like fighting. And I like to see a fight, but only a fight where two people want to fight each other. I don't like seeing bullies. I don't like seeing people push people around and just bully somebody. Like, I'm one of those pick on somebody, not just your own size, but somebody who want to fight you. Pick on that person, you know. But I like to fight, but I don't go around starting fights. I don't start the drama. I don't start conflict, because like I say, conflict is costly. But once I'm engaged, I get a rush out of it. It's like a rush. I mean, it's really like a rush, you know? But that's why they say, don't leave people that are quiet. Don't mess with people that's quiet. Don't mess with people that's not loud. Leave those people alone, you know? Because I've seen so many people get their head knocked off by people that were quiet. I'm gonna tell you a quick story, then I'll go to the next person. When we were in middle school, I think we were like 7th, 8th grade, we used to get on the Metro bus. This is the city bus. And we were the worst little kids. We would get on the bus and just be menaces. People, you know, we didn't really think about the people that were getting on the bus, that was getting off of work and was trying to get home. And I remember one day, this old black lady, we got on the bus, and one of my buddies was like giving the bus driver a hard time. And this old black lady said, "Baby, here." She gave him $1. She said, "Baby, here, just please, baby, get off the bus. I'm trying to go home." And then my buddy, his brother, the same dude, his brother, who would always start the fight. You got to watch out for these kind of dudes. His brother was really good with his hands, but he always would start fights. And he did not care who he started a fight with. He would find the biggest person to start the fight with. So one day, he picked on this dude named Billy. Billy was a quiet dude. Billy kind of looked like an Indian, but he was like lighter skinned. He had that long black hair, and he had a brother and a sister used to get on the bus with him. And Billy was just always quiet and never messed with anybody. So Billy's standing against the pole one day, or standing up holding the pole, and my boy was messing with Billy, little sister and brother. And Billy told me, "Hey man, you can leave her alone." So Billy was like, I mean, my boy was like, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" And man, he hauled off and hit Billy. And Billy, I mean, it looked like some movie karate. Like, you know, I like the Bruce Lee flicks back in the day. Like it had like sound effects, but he put he hit my boy so cold. Boom, chopped him up real quick. So my boy laying on the floor on the bus. Didn't really want to do it to Billy, but I had to because that was my boy. We had to get Billy. But after that, we straightened everything out and we left Billy alone after that because my boy realized that Billy was not an easy target. But yeah, that's my story. Yeah, man. Are you and Scarface still cool? Yeah, we still cool. In fact, thanks for reminding me, man. I got to give him a call in a minute. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Okay, Black Scorpio says, Willie, would you rather fight one dude who is 6'9", 320 pounds, or two dudes, both 4'6", 120? 6'9", 320. Am I fighting with my bare hands or can I pick up something? Because if I can pick up something, I would rather fight the 6'9" dude that's 320 pounds. Anytime you're fighting two dudes, it's a challenge, even if they're 4'6". You know, you didn't ask me, you know, how skilled are these 4'6" dudes that are 120 pounds. But the thing is that I've knocked out, you know, three dudes. I've had fights where I've beat up three dudes, and I've had fights where I beat up three cops. You know, so you just have to like if you fight anytime you're fighting multiple people, you have to make sure you're throwing one hit of quitters. You know, so you can reset. Because if they're all coming at you with the same amount of tenacity and strength and drive, then you're gonna have problems. So first one you put your hands on, you gotta make sure you drop them. You gotta make sure it counts. You can't just be wasting punches. You gotta make sure it counts. So yeah, if I was to fight, yeah, I would have to, yeah. Okay, so let's assume that I can't pick up anything. I would probably rather fight the two 4'6" guys. They would probably be easier to knock out, no matter how skilled they are. They're only 120 pounds. They would probably be easier for me to get to. The other guy, it's funny that you say that because I was when I first met Shaq, that was the first person I ever saw. That was the first man that I ever saw that I thought I would have to pick up something to fight. You know, I mean, that's the first person. I met him in New York. This was back in, I believe this was 94, 95, somewhere up in there when I first met Shaq. I had never seen a human being that damn big before. I was like, man, this damn dude is huge. And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, if I ever got into it with Shaq, I would definitely pick up a bat and take his legs from under. Yeah. But thank God I never had to fight Shaq. Shaq, my homie. That's the homie. Willie D, who's your favorite rapper? My favorite rapper, dead or alive, is Tupac. Alive is Zero. And dead or alive, my second best favorite rapper would probably have to be Zero. Zero or Chuck D or Ice Cube or any of those dudes, like all of those dudes are right there for me, you know. And you know, this favorite rapper thing, it comes down for me. It comes down to it's like there's so many skilled rappers over the years. When people start talking about top 5, top 10, top 20, top 100, you really got to consider that it is that person's personal opinion about what that person's top 5, top 10, or whatever. And I realized that it really comes down to who you listen to the most. Like, what artists that you listen to the most, or that you have listened to the most throughout the years? That's probably going to be the artist that you favor. Favorite East Coast rapper, Chuck D. Randy J asked me, who's my favorite East Coast rapper? Yeah, Chuck D. MVN wants to know, how was it making music with Scarface? I see a lot of music related questions here. Y'all got me today, because typically I don't like answering these music related questions on this platform, but you got me today. Making music with Scarface, it's like magic, because it doesn't matter how much time has gone by before we go into the studio. Once we go into the studio, it's like that. We just turn it on and we knock out songs like that. The first album we did, we wrote that album and recorded it in 10 days. That was the Grip It on That Other Level album, and that was remade by Rick Rubin. We added 2 songs in 1990. But yeah, it's good, you know, because when I'm writing with him, I know that, you know, it's a challenge. It's like it's a friendly competition. So if I hear something that he's saying, I know at the minimum I got to be able to match that or top it. Vice versa. He hears something that I got, he knows in order for him to make sure he get his shine, he has to match that or top it. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Sometimes he get the edge. Sometimes I get the edge on a song. Sometimes we're neck and neck. But either way, it's a win for the group. So that's the way I see it. So we push each other. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing to make music with Scarface. Do you really hate Charles Barkley? Yeah, I hate Charles Barkley. I hate anybody who hate me. I hate anybody who hate the Black community. So yeah, I hate him. Sean wants to know, how was the experience making the album with Larry Hoover? Beautiful. Larry Hoover was the glue, so to speak, to the album, or I would say, like, he really was, well, we'll put it like this, he was the bookend for the album, the Resurrection album, because we used him in the very first part of the album and at the very end of the album. He started off the album, you heard his voice first, and then, you know, and then you heard his voice at the end of the record. So yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful having made that album. That album was really, really special, because that's when I came back to the group and I felt like I had a lot to prove. You know, so coming back in, I was fired up. I was ready. who is that? Tri-Hole. We witnessing the death of the Democratic Party this election, considering the nominee will most likely be a career racist with dementia. No, you really did. You're right, man. Ain't that sad, man, that so many black people are voting for Joe Biden after what he did to destroy so many black families? That is absolutely, that's mind-blowing to me, man. Bernie Sanders ain't perfect, but at least the man been out there trying. At least he been trying. At least he got some stuff that he can point to and say, look, I've been fighting. Look at what I've done. Joe Biden ain't got none of that. Joe Biden ain't got none of that. And if Joe Biden becomes the nominee, you basically are going to have two Trumps. You're going to have two Trumps running for president. Because Joe Biden ain't no different from Trump. I'm telling you. Joe Biden, you got to watch out for those liberals. He ain't no different from Trump. Don't be fooled because he was Barack Obama's vice president. Barack Obama needed Biden to be the president to keep some people calm, to make sure that they went out and voted for Barack. That was very strategic, him putting Biden in there. Biden is a good old boy. He ain't no different. You see how he told that reporter to shush, he shushed that reporter, and he told the construction worker yesterday that he was full of shit. That's the real Joe Biden. See, you didn't see that when he was running, when Barack was running and he was vice president, because Barack was out in the front. So now that Biden is out in the front, you about to see the real Joe Biden. And he's been showing little signs of who he is already, but you're about to see the real Joe Biden in real time. Okay, boy, just imagine, I mean, if nothing else, the debates between him and Trump is going to be very, very entertaining, because you're going to have two career racists running for president. Okay, so humongous. Hey, Willie D, big fan from Windsor. Ontario, Canada, across the Ambassador Bridge from Detroit. Have you ever done a show down here? No, I haven't. That's crazy too, man. Canada, right up the street. I've never done a show in Canada. I've been to Canada a few times. I used to go to Canada to buy furs. Got past that stage. But yeah, never done a show in Canada. Sab wants to know what I think about ADOS. I think any organization that's sincere about helping Black people advance is cool. It's cool with me. I ain't got no problem with it. Like, what people have to understand is that all of these organizations have people in them, and the people that are in these organizations sometimes are not going to be consistent with their actions. So you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, there is no organization that has 100% integrity. I don't believe that's not one. So you're dealing with people, you know, again, human beings. You know, it's like, what's the trip part to me is that you'll have people that don't like ADOS, right? Because of one or two people, right? But if you have one or two police officers who are bad, they'll still say, well, you know, not all cops are bad. But so overall, they still support police officers. You dig what I'm saying? So that's my thing. If you for black people, I'm with you. You know, if you know, and the reason why I specify black people is because, you know, there are organizations out there and there are people out there that are targeting us for failure. They're not where they're not out there targeting certain other groups. So that's why I say, especially, and since I'm black, you know, I'm gonna speak up on it. I'm gonna speak for it. But you know, I ride for righteousness. I don't like to see anybody get done wrong. Anybody just have their rights treaded on. But I'm gonna stand up for blacks specifically because I know that a lot of people are afraid to. A lot of them are scared to, and some of them just don't care. So I'm unapologetically riding for the black community. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't have to go to their parties. I'll have my own party. In fact, if they got a party, I do an anti-party. Ray says, you think the NAACP is still legit? No, I don't. I think they've been compromised. I think it's time for new organizations. It's time for some new organizations to get out there and get it, put the work in and be uncompromising. You know, and don't be afraid to take the money from corporations. I know some people say, man, well, you know, once you take your money, they own you. No, they don't. You know, you let them know, look, you need us, we don't need you. So but if you want us, yeah, we'll take your money, but this is how we're gonna do business. You got to stick to your guns. This is how we're gonna do business. Now you want to come over here and do business with me, that's fine, but this is the model. You fall in line, we're not gonna fall in line. You fall in line. It's like making records. You know, Ghetto Boys, we started out from day one. We made our music for ghetto boys and girls all over the world. And then people in the suburbs started being attracted to the music. They started buying it. But we also understood that that would probably happen because the music was always about, the struggle. We're talking about struggle. We're talking about insufficient living. We're talking about insufficient love. We're talking about betrayal. We're talking about friendship. We're talking about love. All of those things are universal. So we knew that those things would affect other people outside of the ghetto. But even when they started coming over and we started seeing our audience shift and we started getting a predominantly white crowd, we didn't start changing our message because all of a sudden white people liked our music. We continued to put out the same type of message, and you know, the fans that we have, the white fans that we have, respected that. They didn't expect us. They didn't want us to change. And that's what trips me out about a lot of these artists is because once they get up on them big stages and they see that sea of white folks and they just don't hardly see any black people, they feel like, well, they ain't got to make anything for black people, or they don't have to consider how black people feel about the lyrics they say or any type of personal statements that they make in public regarding social issues. They can just say anything and be disrespectful, you know? So we never played that game. We was always like, this is who we are, take it or leave it. And that goes for everybody, not just non-blacks, but also blacks, because sometimes our message did not resonate with certain blacks. They didn't like it. But we did it anyway because that's how we felt. We felt like we was gonna be more effective, you know, sticking to our guns and putting the message out the way we wanted to put it out. Mr. Playful says, Mr. Willie D, I'm from Poland. Why do American people need a government? Poland don't have a government? Let me, y'all don't have a government? Hold on, let me look at, let me see what's going on. Did I miss something? Maybe you're saying American people don't need a government because it don't work. So you have a unitary, semi-presidential representative democratic republic, whereby the president is the head of the state and the prime minister is the head of the government. Executive powers are by the government. Yeah, it just don't seem like the government does a lot for the people. But I get you. I guess that's what you mean. It really doesn't seem like the government does a lot for the people. Seems like they do more bad than good. Zad Jackson wants to know, how is it that all Native American people get a check every month, but white Americans disagree with African Americans getting reparations? That's one of the questions you're gonna have to ask white Americans. Ask white Americans why are they okay with that? Why are they okay with the deal, with the Native American deal, and not making a deal with Black people? Miss Daisy says, does the U.S. need gun control? Absolutely, the U.S. needs gun control, but within reason. I'm a gun advocate. Never taking away all the guns. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Even if the police, the criminals section of the police take away all their guns, if all the police took away all of their guns, that wouldn't be enough for me, because Americans are too violent. Americans are too selfish, violent. Americans are too evil. Not all, but many. Look across the top in every major institution in America and you'll see evil. Straight across the board. And it trickles down. So this is why nothing changes. I see Miss Meechie on moderated. Meechie late, family. Meechie late. Y'all dock her right quick. Now y'all leave Miss Meechie alone. Miss Meechie be putting in work. Rob Trimble wants to know, Willie D, you ever ride a horse? Yeah, I finally got a chance to ride a horse, man. Y'all know back in, what was that? That was on the Resurrection album. So that was 96. I had the lyrics in the song, The World is a Ghetto. I ain't never rode a horse before. And so, yeah, I rode a horse. So that was 96. So I rode a horse. Let's see, this would have been my son's 10th birthday. So 09, 10, 2010, 2009. 2009, I rode a horse. Yeah, so my son is a bit of a cowboy. He likes that stuff. So we went on a trail ride for his birthday and I got on a horse, family. It was actually fun. Margaret McCall says, how many kids do you have, Willie D? And what are their ages? I have 12 kids. I'm messing with y'all. You got no damn 12 kids. Well, I wouldn't know what to do with 12 kids. I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, 20 and 24. This year they'll be 21 and 25. So yeah, I don't see how people can have all those kids and give them all, you know, the attention that each one of them need, you know, so they can be properly developed and nourished and all that kind of good stuff. My grandmother had 15 children. 15. Mac Meany says, are you going to ever get into acting? I tried to hire you a few years ago, but the budget dried up. You know, I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. I'm actually going to Hollywood next week. Take some meetings, see what's up. Lee B says, no, I wasn't around Tupac at all. Asked me, was I ever around Tupac? Not at all. Randy J says, Willie D, you got brothers? I got 2 brothers. A younger brother who's 10 years younger and an older brother who's 1 year older. I actually got 2 sisters also. I got an older sister who's 1 year older and a younger sister who's 2 years younger. Skin Tight 70 says, do your kids want to get into the music, to the entertainment business? A little bit. I guess my daughter is in law school and she's, you know, her primary interest is intellectual property. And that could mean some entertainment stuff and other things. So she'll have that skill set. And so I'm sure she'll do some of that. My son is in business school. So, and yeah, he's attracted to the entertainment industry, but I don't know exactly what he's gonna do, but we'll see. You know what's crazy though, family, is that this, you know, whatever you expose your kids to, they're probably going to be attracted to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like if your kids grow up and see you involved in gang activity, they'll probably end up being a gang member or being in a relationship with a gang member, right? If, you know, your kids, you know, see you, you know, they see you, you know, they're growing up and they're, you're in the entertainment industry, they'll probably lean more toward the entertainment industry in some capacity. That's why they say it starts. That's why everybody always say it starts at home. It starts at home. You know, you get to shape and mold your kid however you want to. That's why it trips me out when people start trying to blame rappers for the way kids are, or the way their kids are. Like, man, I would be embarrassed to blame a rapper for the way my kid turns out. I would be embarrassed. You mean to tell me I got my kid from day one? I get the love on this kid from day one. I'm there from the day that they're born. In fact, I'm there before they're born. I'm the reason why they're born. I planted the seed. I was there when they were born. I'm in the emergency room. I'm in the delivery room. I'm the second person to hold my child. Day one, I'm feeding, I'm nursing, I'm buying the Pampers, changing diapers, buying clothes. I'm buying the clothes from the time that they're 1 day old all the way through high school, through college. I'm there along the way. I'm programming. I program them before TV can get to them. I tell them how long they can watch that TV, what they can't watch. I turn the channel on. At some point, they start to turn the channels themselves. But what happens a lot is that the parents stop monitoring. They stop monitoring them and they start leaving them to their own devices. And what do you think happens when you leave kids to their own devices? I'm there every step of the way. You like that music? What you like about that? You know what's happening right there. You know what he's saying? You know what he's talking about? Oh, yeah? Okay. Coaching, teaching, every level of the way, every step of the way. Because I understand that I am creating, I am developing along the way, all the way, every stage. You have to participate in your child's development. At any moment you step away and you let somebody else take them, then next thing you know, they come back a different person. So every step of the way, you develop it. So my kid turned out to be a certain way or whatever. I'm not going to, oh man, them rappers, it's because of this. No, it's going to all start with me. Just like you take the credit when your kid go out there and do something great, like parents take the credit when their kids go out and do something great in the world, they need to take the credit when their kids become a junkie or get in a gang and go out there and kill somebody, or they become a bum. You know, they go out there and have a bunch of babies and stuff they can't take care of. The parents need to take the credit for that also. Hey, fair is fair, right? Adam Morris says, I think it's Aiden. Is it Aiden? Aiden Morris says, do you still live by the sword? Man, I live by the sword, man. I take my boys everywhere I go because I'm paranoid. Yeah. Miss Michi wants to know, do you have any annual functions like barbecues or etc.? You know, I don't. And I know I need to. I said I would start doing something like that, and I would start doing a festival or something, but I have not put the plan into motion. What's interesting is that I was supposed to meet someone today to discuss something along those lines, but it didn't work out. So perhaps in the near future. Derek Quarles needs to know you putting out any new music. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Right now, I'm what you call a specialist. You know how sometimes you watch those movies and that dude that's retired, he's a hitman, but he's retired, and some type of secret operative guy gives him a call, one of his old buddies, and say, hey, we need you, man. We need you for this. We got an operation and we can only do it with you. You know, you're the man for the job. And then, you know, so they'll be like, oh, no, I'm done. You know, first you get an emphatic no, hell no, I'm done with that. That life is behind me. And then they say something, they give you some type of key, come on, man. And then you be like, you give them a reluctant yes. You're like, all right, what time you want me to meet you? So I'm that dude now. You call me, somebody got a verse that they want done, and they can't hear nobody on that thing but me and get it done. I'm that dude. Yeah, exactly. I got a bass. Yeah, bass thumper. Is that bass? That's bass thumper. Yeah, special set of skills. I got a special set of skills. Favorite boxer. Favorite boxers: Mike Tyson, Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Jack Johnson, Evander Holyfield, Hagler, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. I know I'm missing a few. Reggie Johnson, Roy Jones. Let's see. I'm gonna hold up right there for now. And he asked me about coolest cars. I really don't get into cars too much. I mean, my son is the car person. He's the car enthusiast. I just, you know, see something nice and I'd be like, okay, I want that. And I just roll like that. But my son is really the car enthusiast. Should women get a chance to compete in the NBA? Nah, I don't think so. And I'm a girl dad. I don't think so. Because then you open up the lane for men to compete in the WNBA, right? So you know how that's going to turn out. Tasman James. Yeah, I'm going to Corey Holcomb. I'll be on 5150 next week. Look for it. I got to do it. Always fun when I go to 5150. I started boxing when I was 11. That's Lag Bender. I started boxing at 11 years old. Walked into the YMCA. My favorite mogul, I'm assuming you're saying like my favorite business mogul. Probably Robert Smith. I like the fact that he's self-made. Truth Serum says, Mr. Willie D, if you were to go into acting, what type of character would you want to play? I would want to play like a character that people wouldn't expect. Like, 'cause people would expect me to play a gangster, but I would play like a cop or like a scientist or an astronaut or a fire, like a jet fighter, yeah, something like that, because I used to have ambitions to be a pilot, to be a pilot in the Air Force. Guy, one of those fighter jets, Yeah, I want to do that. Can y'all imagine that? Me being like me being in the Army and being being one of those dudes that go around and drop those bombs. Yeah, I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I'm talking about like, glad I didn't do it, man. Especially after finding out what I know now. That's when I was in high school. Favorite food. I would say favorite food is something that I can't eat often, and that is spaghetti. Used to be spaghetti and ground beef, but now it's spaghetti and well, it's still spaghetti and ground beef. It's just something I don't eat. I only eat it like maybe once every 4 months or so, because I cut beef out of my diet. And you should too. That red meat is responsible for a lot of heart disease and all kind of issues. So if you can cut it out, cut it out. Upload Vid says, have you heard Godfrey's jokes about how you rap on We Can't Be Stopped? Have you ever met him? Yeah. Godfrey, that's my homie. Yeah, I heard his jokes. Funny dude, man. Yeah. All right, family, that's my time. I appreciate y'all for checking out the live. Wow, man, 136 minutes of answering questions. Well, actually, it wasn't 136 minutes. It was 97 minutes. 97 minutes of answering your questions. B Diesel, I see you, B Dizzle. C Note, Daniel Connor. I see y'all in the super chat. Stu O'Hara, welcome to level 1. Kathy Dunlap, welcome to level 1. These are new members to the WillieDLive channel, family. If you want to become a member, you can click on that link in the description and join the channel for some cool perks. SPC Jordan King, what up? Dram LP. Again, Miss Libra. Let me know how that advice worked out for you, Miss Libra. Chef Darwin C. and Venom T. Thank y'all for checking in. Until next time, family, y'all have a good one. No more talk.